Welcome, everybody. This is the Day Trading Options Daily Review for November 17th, 2015. This is a very special review because we are only going to be looking at one trade. This is a trade that one of our students, codenamed Joe, did on November 17th. So, Alan, I'm Scott, he's Alan, and Alan's going to take you through the mind of one of our traders.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. You know, it's always curious whenever you're looking at something. It's like, well, does that really work? Come on. You know, I've seen so many of these guys that do this stuff and it doesn't work, and I've spent all this money and time. And well, you know, our basis is that you can and should prove it to yourself before you spend any money. And of course, we don't charge you the $3 grand up front kind of thing. It's more like you're paying out of a piece of your profits, a small piece, hopefully. So I just wanted to share this because he was sharing this with me, and so this was my yesterday. This, you know, today's the 18th when we're recording this, and so he tells me yesterday. He says, "Hey, you know, just want to let you know I'm you know, doing well with my trades, and I made $2,200 yesterday." Now he has a job, and he doesn't want to be on the show here because he doesn't want his bosses to know that he's doing this, because he would actually, because he's in a kind of job that he can float around, he can be in the office or not be in the office. So he'll actually go down to the local Starbucks, fire up his laptop. I love this guy. He's kind of like the trade warrior here. So he goes in there and he does his trading, and then he goes off and, you know, does his job stuff. And he does get all the things done for his work he's supposed to do. So he's keeping his job. And he used about, I think he said about $5,000. No, it was $4,000 of his account. So he's not trading the whole thing, which is one of the things we tell people is don't put it all on the line. And he says, you know, it's more relaxed for him because he used to trade his whole account, and it was more stressful because, of course, if it goes down, ouch. If it goes up, that's great. So we're just going to look at this one trade here, and my point is that he made $2,200 using $4,000, and if you're doing the math, that's more than a 50% return. And the point that he got in, and we're just going to draw it, is he got in here and he got out there. And we could show you that in the system, but it doesn't matter. You can prove that to yourself. The idea is that there's a guy out there that's doing it and keeping his job. And so then he calls me up this morning and he says, "Hey, you know, thanks for chatting yesterday, and can I tell you what I did today?" So that was $2,200 yesterday. What we're going to do is we're now going to load what he did today. And he did it again on Netflix. And he said, and this is why I wanted you to see the other one first, is that he made, just looking at the exact number here, $2,600 today on Netflix, and he made $1,000 on Google. But on this one today, he had to hang around for 2 hours. Now, yesterday, I'm just going to draw on here, it went up and up and up, and he made lots of money. And it was one big run. Today is more like a normal day where this is all it really did, and he got that piece of it. But he hung around because he was looking for the big gain. Now, he's been using the system for a while. So what he did is he was in for this, and then it starts going down, and he's still hanging on because he's looking for his bigger paycheck, and it didn't happen. So what he did instead was, at this point here, he felt it was going to keep going up. Why? Because the last couple of days it's been going strong. So there's a lot of faith and push in Netflix. And so what he ended up doing is getting in here, and he got out around here. And why? Because the Y point and you didn't beat it. So the system tells you all these things. And so on this one, he made $2,600, but he ended up buying more of it here to get his profit target. And it took him 2 hours because this is just after 10 and this is just before noon that he got out. And again, you know, he's kept his day job and all that. And he also made $1,000 on Google. And I don't know where exactly he did that, but he made $1,000 in there. Now, the point of all this is it is happening. It's real people. They're making real money. They're making adjustments to the system after they've proven to themselves. And he's been using it for a while. And he did take the mindset course, and he found that helpful because he had one bad habit. And I think Scott knows, we've said about the mindset course, you easily have 2 bad habits out of the 11. Guaranteed, you have at least 2. I don't care who you are, you have 2.
That's right.
And you may have one fellow says, well, I got all of them. I think he was joking, of course. But so my friend Joe, he's gotten rid of his one bad habit. And why that's important is because if I draw this on screen here, just as a silly thing to do, but he'd make lots of money, and then he'd lose lots of money. And then he'd make lots of money, and he'd lose lots of money. And you go, well, that's terrible. I mean, it's wonderful that a guy makes, you know, 2, 3, 4 grand in a day. He's certainly not getting that out of his paycheck. So he knew there was something with trading options, that the power was there. But it was this part in here. It's like, well, how do I get rid of that? And well, you know, that's just a bad habit. And he didn't listen all that well because he's a human, and that's what we do. Put your rubber boots on. It's raining. But mom. And, you know, as adults, we still do that. You know, it's a kind of stubbornness, independent. It's our lives. We do what we do. Anyways, he's learned, and that's the part I really like, because that's the other part. He's learned he doesn't get into, when it's a bad trade, he either doesn't get into it because that's mindset, and that's covered in that course, or he gets out of it faster. And so guess what he's doing? He's keeping the money. I love it. So he's already made in 2 days $6,000, and you go, well, yeah, but he's doing it. So if you stick with a system, just do the few things we ask you to do for your own benefit. You'll be happier, and your account will be happier. And yeah, he still got his job, but that's because he's got a goal. He wants to build up this big stack of cash and buy a new house and all that sort of thing. So it's happening.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. Really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us, everybody. You've been watching the Waves of Profits Day Trading Options Daily Review, Joe's version for November 17th and 18th. Thanks for joining us. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you go to the descriptions, you'll see links to all of our courses. Highly recommend you go through the courses, integrate the knowledge, integrate the learning, integrate the teaching, practice, and then prove to yourself that you can make 10% or more in 10 minutes. That's kind of the goal that we will start everybody off with. And once you realize you can do that, then you can make 20% in a little bit longer, or do what Joe did when the opportunities show themselves. They don't always show themselves every day, but they do very often, where you can put $4,000 down on an investment and walk away with $2,000 in profit. Pretty nice day. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.